Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we're looking at something that's very old, it's very collectible, but I think it's super cool. We are looking at the 1977 release by IPC magazines from their Star Trek Special magazine, or comic magazine, which contained two complete action-packed picture stories or comic strip stories, and they were actually reprints, black and white reprints from the Gold Key Comics, which were the American comics, issue number 48 and number 47 respectively, which was basically a whole series. The Gold Key Comics was a whole series of Star Trek comics that was released in the US. Now they did quite a few different specials, or when they weren't actually all called specials. You had the comic albums, which they called a few. Again, they were reprinting of Gold Key comics. So there was a few of those, and of course you had the annuals, which also contained the Gold Key comic stories reprinted into the yearly annuals. Okay, so this is the Star Trek Special in front of us. So it says two long, complete, action-packed picture stories, Star Trek Special, and it's got Murder on the Enterprise, and there you can see a image of Captain Kirk holding a murdered gentleman, and you see the USS Enterprise flying through space. And the second story is called The Immortal, and it says life had no value for him, for he could not die. Only Captain Kirk stood between him and the destruction of mankind. So that's the front of the comic. Now before we have a good look inside, I just want to flip it over and let's see what we got on the back. Oh yes, look at that. There's a lovely poster there of the USS Enterprise, and just below that there is Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock on board the USS Enterprise on the bridge. Terrific picture that is, actually. Really, really nice one. Okay, so that's the front and back covers. I think what we're going to do now, we're going to open, well, I know we're going to open it up and we're going to have a look inside the comic. Okay, so I've opened the front of the comic, and this is the first story. I do have to say that this is all in black and white, this whole comic. It's not colour. So it is, back in the day, it was quite expensive to run colour comics, so a lot of them didn't. They were just black and white ones, or monocolour ones. And this one is completely in black and white. So the first story is called Murder on the Enterprise, and this is part one. It says The Sweet Smell of Evil. It says Captain Log Stardate 5716.4. Having assumed standard orbit planet M317, our purpose transport Professor Patrick Moore, director of the Federation survey team, here to the Interstellar Geophysical Conference on Beta Aurigate. Okay, so that's the story. So, as I say, it is actually a reprint from the Gold Key Comics, and it was issue number 48 of the Gold Key Comics in America. I don't know if the Gold Key ones was in colour, but to say this whole story here is in black and white. And so, but it's, I've got to say, it's good artwork. Yeah, and they're nice big images as well. They're not small ones that you can't see properly. They're nice size artwork images that tell the whole story, and these are complete stories in actual fact, so they're not half stories and you've got to wait for another issue. They are complete stories, and not to mention the fact that this was the only one of these that they produced, so they didn't do a second or a third one of these. And then in the centre pages there we have the image colour photograph or poster, pull out poster there of the crew of the USS Enterprise, the command crew. So you've got Mr. Scott, Pavel Chekhov, you've got Nurse Chapel, Lieutenant Uhura, Mr. Sulu, Mr. Spock, Dr. McCoy, and none other than Captain James T. Kirk, the commander of the USS Enterprise. Okay, and then we come on to This Tree Bears Bitter Fruit. And I think this is this a second story? I think this is the second story. We're in the second half of the comic. So, yep, which is all about the Immortal by the looks of things. They're beaming down to a planet. Yeah, I'm not really paying much attention to the story here. And there's the second half of it. This tree bears bitter fruit, part 2. It's Captain Kirk supplemental. Dr. McCoy, Mr. Spock and myself have beamed down to the surface of an uncharted planetoid located in the Gamma Cygni region of our patrol sector. We are continuing our investigation of the phenomenon pursued from Beta Niobe 3. So there we are. So this is the rest of the story. I think they've met the Immortal one there. And yep, the story goes on. It's about to come to an end as we reach the final page. And that is the end of the comic. Okay, so it's not overly thrilling. It's not a fantastic comic. We've seen a lot better than this over the years. But it is great to have in the UK the reprints of the Gold Key comics. Back in the day, this was fantastic because there was hardly any merchandise available for Star Trek in the 70s. You got the annuals, and there was some of the other books that were basically the IPC had produced, like the comic albums, and the picture story books and the television story books, and they all had Gold Key comic stories in them, and then of course the annuals did. But other than that, there wasn't a lot more. Tell a lie, you had the novels, so you could pick a novel up and read it. But as a young boy, that's not something you wanted to do. You wanted to see the comic images as well. So that's why we were all so much in love with these issues when we were kids. But they were fantastic for us. There was no other way to watch your program. You had the other things were available, like the annuals and the picture storybooks, like I said. There was some Viewmaster slides available as well. There were some projectors where you could watch your favourite TV shows again. But most of it all fell back onto the annuals and the comics and the television storybooks. But I say that they all sold very, very, very well back in the day, because that's what we all wanted. Yeah. Now, what are we talking now? 77 to 2024. So we're 47 years since this comic was produced. Do they survive the test of time? Do they appear on the platforms? Yes, they do come up on the platforms from time to time. You used to see this particular one quite a lot because obviously it was mass produced in the UK. Cover price up there also shows 40p. What can you get for 40p these days? Not a lot. But yeah, I mean, they do come up on the platforms. So not as often as they used to, but they do still come up. So you can order on platforms if you can find one. I don't think they stand around for very long because a lot of people are collecting these older items of Star Trek. But yes, to answer your question, they do pop up on the platforms from time to time. So they're not as rare as some of the other items, some of the other comics and books that we've shown, but they are. It is still a very collectible item and quite rare. And as usual, we at Midas Touch have managed to find quite a few of these, and they're currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Trek items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that this is something that you will not want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long-lost childhood memories. Well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful comic with me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next time.